Hello, it's Howard the Teaserking coming to you. I'm just going to do a quick draft video. I'm so tired of hearing all this crap about these fake drafts and mock drafts and all that crap, and nobody knows anything. Just a bunch of idiots, and it's really like, okay, I'll tell you what's really going on so you have a better clue. Let's talk about quarterbacks and running backs. And then just some keys to the draft that how I would do it and go from there. So if we look at last year's stats on the quarterback, and really that's what you got to do is look at how do they play in college to see if there's any freaking good in the pros. They got to be good in college. You can't take a bad college player and then assume he's going to be good in the pros. It doesn't work that way. So let's take a look at some of the stats of some of the, let's start with the quarterbacks, then we'll get into the running backs, and then we'll talk strategy. So Lamar Jackson, you want him, throws 60%, averaged 290 yards a game, 25 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, lost every big game, Florida State, Clemson, and half the others. So he was fast, and in college against teams like Pacific, he did good. Should never have won the Heisman Trophy. And to me, I think he reminds me of the guy from Michigan, the shoes guy, whatever. He's fast, but he's not accurate. He's not a winner. There's no reason I would, if I did draft a guy, I'd make him a wide receiver like Pittsburgh did with Hines Ward and the guy from Indiana. That's what I would do with Lamar Jackson. He's not where are you going to play him at quarterback? I mean, yeah, you're faster in college, but I don't even think I think he only played 2 years. So that automatically disqualifies any quarterback. They need to play 4 years to be any good, or at least 3 full seasons. If you play freshman, sophomore, and junior, I can live with that, but I can't live with a guy playing 2 years. Look at Winston, he's terrible. No 2-year quarterback does any good in the pros. You need to understand that position, progression. When you watch Tom Brady, he knows exactly where he's going to throw the ball before the ball's hiked. He gets to the line of scrimmage, he reads it, then you're on a man in motion. So right away he knows it's zone, it's man. And if it's man, I've got this, and if it's zone, I've got that. And okay, the guy ran with him, it's a man coverage, I'm going to throw over here. So he already knows where he's throwing before the ball's hiked. Believe me, Lamar Jackson would have no clue what he's doing with it, how to read the defense, all this other stuff. So I would never draft him as a quarterback. I would draft him as a receiver, maybe a return man if he knows how to return the ball, but he's not a quarterback. Ryan Finley doesn't show me enough. North Carolina State, 16 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. I wouldn't go with him. His percentage was 64%, but I wasn't sold on him. They didn't really light it up. Not a lot in the ACC. Riley Ferguson, I believe he's in, but I'm not hearing anything about it. I thought he was a senior. If he is, he's got 36 touchdowns and 9 interceptions, and he's a 63%, threw for 4,000 yards, 3,900, 330 a game. And I know they have a passing offense. Now, the problem is the guy on Denver from Memphis hasn't done anything. I'm sorry, my mind isn't on the old names right now, but they basically, Paxton Lynch, that's it. Sorry about that. So he's as good as Paxton Lynch. I'm surprised Paxton Lynch isn't doing more on Denver. See, this is the problem. You're trying to fit round pegs in the square holes with, they run this type of offense in college. We want them to run this type of offense in the pros. The pros have to be more lenient and find the offense that the quarterback can play and play it. Instead, what they do is they have some stupid offensive coordinator, because I haven't found too many good. I can't find too many good coaches, but I can't find. There's only a few good offensive coordinators. That's why the league sucks, and that's why most teams average under 20 points. So what you have is here's Riley and Paxton Lynch play this more open offense at Memphis. It's very successful. The guy throws 36 touchdowns and 9 interceptions, and yet you don't, he'll go to the NFL or look at Paxton Lynch. What does Denver do? Instead of making them run the Memphis offense a little bit or a couple of plays and get the idea of what Memphis did, where Paxton Lynch and Riley Ferguson are going to be successful, they run the Denver offense, which, it's not very good. And then they can't find a quarterback, and then they wonder why they lose every game last year. They were terrible. So that's the problem. You've got to run an offense that your quarterback can run, because it's a lot easier to draft Riley Ferguson and run his Memphis offense than it is to run offense X and then try to find a quarterback which you can't find. And this is the problem in the NFL. They all want to run this, and it's a copycat league, so they all want to run the same offense, and they can't find a quarterback because there's no quarterbacks out there that can run their offense. Because in college now, you're either running the Memphis offense, the Baylor offense, or the Ohio State offense, or maybe Alabama, where they're just power running it. Oregon, they're running these sweep. So none of the big offenses are running the NFL. So the guys come up, it's like they're learning, they're learning Spanish, and here's the NFL, it's all French. And they're not, and nobody knows French because they all are learning Spanish or maybe German. The spread's German and the running option is French. And here they are, trying to fit them, and they can't because they don't exist. And this is the problem. This is why they're paying these quarterbacks so much, is the guys who can fit into their system. The problem is they need to hire offensive coordinators from college, from the Baylors, from the Ohio States, from the Memphis, from the South Floridas and the UCFs and the teams that score a lot, and make them the offensive coordinator. They know how to score. I mean, if the league's going to change the whole thing to passing offenses, we're going to have passing offense, then run a passing offense. And yet they bring in quarterbacks that couldn't start at Ohio State and Michigan, and they're in the pros. Like Joe Flacco, he's terrible. But he kind of fits, because I don't know why. He's not a winner to me. I don't bet. This is my problem last year, was horrible. Like, the trends all fell through. I played the trends for 40 years, 50 years. Yep, this team's a good road dog. Yep, winner every year. How did you pick that game, Howard? Well, because they're a good road dog, and they're a road dog, and they won. Last year, you couldn't trust anybody. I mean, except for maybe New England, and I even Philly and Minnesota. I didn't have a clue what they were. The Rams couldn't trust. Who knows? You can't tell me a team you can trust that's really good that is going to win. Maybe Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers, but they don't have a defense. And Seattle before you could have, but then they got all the injuries. So anybody that was really good that you could trust, going, okay, they're getting points, they're going to win, you can't trust. So it's become a real pile of crap, basically. It's just terrible teams, very inconsistent. So what do they need? Well, they need, I'm going to draft Riley Ferguson. He's going to be my quarterback. I'm going to run his offense. My defense will be an NFL defense. Need some running backs. These whole idiots. You can't draft a running back in the first round. Why the hell not? Why would you draft a lineman in the first round? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. Anyway, I'll get back to that shortly. So Riley going to run the spread. So if you're going to run the spread, draft him. I mean, now can he play, the other type of offenses? It's hard to tell. I'm sure he could learn it. He's a good quarterback. He's a winner. My next one is the biggest sleeper in the board. My buddy, Quentin Flowers, South Florida. He threw for 236 a game, 53%, 21 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. I'll tell you what you do with this guy. You draft him, you put him in on 3rd and 4th down and short. You cannot tackle him. This guy is so hard to tackle, it's unbelievable. Okay, you bring him in on 3rd and 2 or 4th and 1. You let him run that read option where he looks at the end, he gives it to the fullback or he fakes it, and he runs around the end, and I guarantee you 99 times out of 100 he picks up the first down and or the touchdown. Is he a regular quarterback? It's questionable. I love him. He made me a fortune. I think he's very good. But 53%, you throw 53% at South Florida, are you going to throw 65% in the NFL? That's the only problem. But if you did run, I would run a spread offense, and I would definitely have this guy on my team somewhere. Maybe you put him as a wide receiver. But I'll tell you, you put him in on 3rd and 1, or you let him run back punts and kickoffs, ain't nobody tackling this guy, the first guy. I mean, he's got moves like Barry Sanders, very intense, very, I watched game after game, the UCF game, all the game, the Florida State game. He excelled. They couldn't tackle him. The first guy never tackled the guy. So, 21 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He doesn't turn the ball over much, 53%. The guy's a winner. The question is, can you develop him enough? I mean, he's a late round pick or a free agent. I would definitely pick him up. Like I said, I would run him on 3rd and 1 in that Ohio State spread, or the South Florida. I don't like their coach. He killed Flowers last year. I'd like to read Flowers' stats from 2 years ago, but basically this kid's a winner. You put him in on the goal line. You got 3rd and 3 at the goal line. Touchdown. Let him just run around the end. The first guy will not tackle him. His moves are incredible. This is a guy that makes the team. You put him in on 3rd and 1 and 2, run that option, 2-point conversion. Maybe he can throw. I mean, he's a good quarterback. I watched him throw, and he came from behind against Texas Tech, against UCF. He'd light it up. So I don't know how much was Charlie Strong with his terrible offense creating this guy to throw 53% and only 21 touchdowns. But he can run, and he's not a bad quarterback. So I would definitely give this guy a chance in the later rounds, and definitely free agent, but definitely in the later rounds. Don't see too much else here that are seniors. So I don't know who else is coming out of the Memphis, Houston, Navy conference. Big Ten, J.T. Barrett, 64%, 35 touches, 9 interceptions, threw for 226 a game. He's a typical Ohio State option quarterback. You cannot draft him as a quarterback. He's a great, like Flowers. I think Flowers is better as far as a runner or running an option. I think Flowers is much better. Barrett, got to be a wide receiver, maybe a cornerback or safety. Great athlete, not a quarterback. I mean, but this is what Ohio State does. They get these fast guys who can throw a little, but they're quick and running. So maybe as a punt returner or wide receiver. I think these Ohio State quarterbacks have to work more on that. That's all I see out of the Big Ten. God knows nobody will draft Tanner Lee. Most of them were young last year, so we'll get a better feel. Nobody's drafting Wilton Spate. I wouldn't think so. Okay, the Big 12. Let's just let the stats tell as they may. Baker Mayfield, 71%, 41 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 333 a game. Now you're saying, well, it's the Big 12. They don't play defense. Okay. Did you watch the Georgia game? When I locked the over in the game, and it was over in the third quarter. Um, this guy, stat-wise, he's a winner. They won the conference, and he beat Georgia, and he beat Ohio State. I don't get why people sit there and go, well, he's too small. Are you telling me the guys in college are not the same size as the guy in the NFL? The linemen are 6'6", the defensive linemen are 6'. I don't get why size doesn't matter. I'd rather have Drew Brees than Ryan Leaf. But Ryan Leaf was taller, or Dan McGuire, who was 6'8", Mark McGuire's brother. None of those guys do well in the pros. It's not about height. It's about seeing your receiver and throwing it. 71%. I got Baker Mayfield as the top quarterback in the draft. A little bit better than Riley Ferguson. Absolutely a winner, and that's what you look at. He should have beat Georgia, but it wasn't his fault. And he won all the big games. Losing to Iowa State, everybody lost to Iowa State last year. They were a great team, and that's no shame in losing to them. It's not like losing to Kansas, who is 12 guys at the office can beat Kansas. So Baker right there, 41-5. Then you got Mason Rudolph, 65%, 35 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. Same league as Baker. That's what I'm saying. So here's Mason Rudolph at a pass-happy Oklahoma State, and he's only 35-9, and he throws for 379 a game. So it's a much, he threw for a lot. Then 65% is good for the amount that he threw, but I it just goes, he's not up there with Baker Mayfield. Nick Shimmerock, Texas Tech, outstanding quarterback, 30 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 68%. I would definitely get this guy in the later rounds. Good quarterback. Again, they run their style, so let's see how they are. But this guy's a very good quarterback. Again, if you run the Texas Tech system, and I'm not saying run it as your whole offense, but have it in your offense. Maybe on second down or first down, you spread it out like Texas Tech and you let the guy throw. I mean, he was 68% there. That's about, who else is there? Baylor now, Zach Smith. He's, I don't think he's a senior. That's about it for the Big 12. TCU, nobody. Kansas, no. That's about it. That's Will Greer, West Virginia. I think he's a senior. I don't know if he's coming out because he was injured and redshirted. So I'm not sure if he's in this draft or next year. He's good. Keep your eye on him. 65%, 34-12, touchdown to interception. But again, I don't know if that's this year or next year. Let's see. All right, let's go to the Western Kentucky division. Western Kentucky. The best quarterback is Mike White from Western Kentucky. 65%, 24 touchdowns and 7. But I don't know if he's in the draft. It's hard to say. Brett Stockstile from Middle Tennessee, great quarterback. He was hurt for a few games. So when he came in, he threw 14 touchdowns, 5 interceptions in only 5 games. 58%, a little low, but again, he was injured. He's a steal if you can pick him up late. You're in the 8th, 9th, 10th round and you need a quarterback or free agent. This guy's a winner. This guy I would definitely keep an eye on. But again, I don't know who come out and who doesn't. I can only tell you who's good and who's not. The independents, nothing really there. The best was Andrew Ford out of Mass, 22 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 63%, 265. And the Army, I'll tell you who I draft if he's available is Armand Bradshaw from Army. But I think he's got one more year left. Talk about a winner. Man, oh man, you put that guy in wherever you want. Tight end, running back, wide receiver. This kid is a winner. I'm going to bet huge on Army this year because they're not going to be spread right. This team is dangerous with Armand Bradshaw. You keep an eye on him. And, you know, you got Army against another team that they're equal to. You know, not Alabama, not Georgia, but you got them against, you know, Rice or SMU. Just pound Army. This Bradshaw is a winner, and he's very good. Okay, Toledo, Logan Woodside, great quarterback, 65%, 28 touchdowns, 5 interceptions for Toledo, threw for 290 a game. This guy I would definitely take third, fourth, fifth round. I think he's as good as any quarterback out there. Mayfield's a little higher, but Woodside can, you know, it's like Kareem Hunt. Oh, he played for Toledo. He can't be any good. Well, the only reason Kareem Hunt was any good is because Logan Woodside was their quarterback, and they couldn't key on Hunt, right? They had to play honest because of Woodside, and Woodside lit it up. They averaged, I don't know, I can get to the average later. I think 40 points a game. Just a second, let's see Toledo real quickly. Toledo averaged 39.2 a game. I'll get into that in a little bit, but that's what you're looking at, right? You got guys to average 40 points a game without Hunt. So Hunt's gone in the pros. They're still averaging 40 points a game. Woodside, 28 touchdowns, only 5 interceptions. This guy is very good. You know, definitely, I'd say second, third rounder all day. And I wouldn't, you know, if I took him in the first round, I wouldn't be embarrassed, but he'll be there second or third round. Like New England wants quarterback. This is their quarterback right here. Let these other idiots go, except for Mayfield. They'll never get Mayfield. He's going to be gone in the first 2 or 3 picks. That's really it. I mean, nothing else in the MAC was any good. All right, the Colorado State, Hawaii, Boise. Nick Stevens is good. I don't know if he's a senior. So let's compare Josh Allen. Let's compare a little Josh Allen to my guy. Let's compare him to Logan Woodside. Logan's ratings 169, Josh Allen's 124. Logan 64.9 percentage, Josh Allen 56.2. Yards per game, Logan 290, Josh Allen 165. Logan 28 touchdowns, 5 picks. Josh Allen 13 touchdowns, 6 picks. Who in God's name is drafting this guy ahead of Logan Woodside, ahead of Baker Mayfield? I haven't gotten to the Pac-10 guys yet. I would draft Quentin Flowers over this guy, and Quentin Flowers has about the same percentage. Josh Allen is not a winner. Their team sucked. Let's go to their points. Wyoming averaged 22 points a game. I just told you Logan Woodside got 39. All right, let's go to South Florida. How many did South Florida get? I mean, this is what the quarterback does. South Florida averaged 38 points a game. UCF, with my favorite guy, Mackenzie Milton, who's playing again, 50 points a game. Memphis, Riley Ferguson, 47 points a game. SMU freaking averaged 40 a game. Let's go up to the big Oklahoma State, 46 a game. Oklahoma, 45 a game. West Virginia, 36 a game. Texas Tech, 34 a game. And you want me to draft Josh Allen, they averaged 22 points a game. Are you freaking nuts? What part of 56%, 13 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions are you not understanding? If he's a winner, it doesn't matter. He wins. Nick Stevens at Colorado State. had 27 touchdowns and 10 picks. Ty Gansey from Nevada. Okay, do you think they had an offensive line? Do you think they'd play in bad weather? 25 touchdowns and 11 picks. The freaking guy from Hawaii had 18 touchdowns and 8 picks. Fresno State, who sucked. No, they were actually pretty good, but not offensively. Their guy had 14 touchdowns and 14 picks. The Air Force guy, they run, had 10 touchdowns and 4 picks. Give me a freaking break here with this guy. Here's Boise's Montel Cozart, the backup option running quarterback, had 10 touchdowns and 1 pick. And you want me to draft Josh Allen, 13 touchdowns and 6 picks. Anywhere before the 5th round, you're out of your freaking minds. Anybody that drafts this guy, it's done. It's Ryan Leaf. He's tall. Ooh, he's got a big arm. Yeah, 13 touchdowns and 6 picks. He's got a great arm. 56%. You can say whatever you want with excuses. The facts are the facts. Here's the storyline. 56%, 13 and 6. I just gave you Logan Woodside at Toledo, and they play similar competition, right? Wyoming. Their biggest game was Boise and Fresno. And then here you got Toledo, and they had to play Western and Eastern, and they played a couple of big games in the bowl game. Josh Allen's not playing. They're playing Hawaii, Nevada, the Air Force, Utah State, San Jose State, Vegas, and he throws for 13 touchdowns and 6 picks, and you want to draft this guy in the 1st round? Can you tell me why? Oh, he's tall. The numbers are the numbers. Here, he's sacked 19 times for a -136. Logan Woodside was sacked 18 times for 104. So what are you telling me here? I mean, there's no way this guy is not a winner. Okay, let's say he's on any team. Put him on any team. Are you going to bet on him? And let's not forget, this is the whole point, is the betting, is the gambling. Are you going to bet on this Josh Allen? Did he make you any money last year? Well, let's see. Let me go to the 2017 trends. Wyoming. Wyoming was 9-3 against the number. Bet against 6-6. Toledo, 9-4 against the number. Oklahoma, 11-3 against the number. Oak State, 10-3 against the number. I mean, so even against the number, he doesn't do anything. So what do you want Josh Allen for? Absolutely, I wouldn't draft this guy at all. Not in the 3rd round, not in the 5th round. I wouldn't sign him as a free agent. He's Ryan Leaf. He's McGuire's brother. He's Tim Couch. Take your pick. I'd rather have the Notre Dame quarterback Cleveland had than this guy last year who stunk. You got better guys sitting on the bench like the Miami quarterback, Kaya, didn't do anything. Is better than Josh Allen. Sorry, I don't see it. I'm not buying it. I'm telling you now, whoever drafts him, when he gets in the game, guess who Teaserking's locking against? Josh Allen. Let's go to the Pac-10. I like to call it the Pac-8, but we'll call it the Pac-10. Luke Falk, 67%, 300 yards a game, 30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions. I don't like he only got 30 touchdowns and he threw 30 interceptions. They did run the ball more, Washington State, and they played much better defense. So this guy can definitely play, can definitely 67%. Again, but you got to run that Washington State, that Baylor, that Memphis offense for the guy. You can't put him in a Baltimore offense and wonder why you can't. Miami, I don't know what offense or the Jets have. But if I was Miami or the Jets or Buffalo, I'd be running the freaking Washington State, Memphis offense. I mean, Baylor offense. What do you got to lose? The offense you're running sucks. You can't score 10 points a game. All right, so Luke Falk's up there, but he's, maybe 3rd or 4th round, maybe a good backup. Do I trust him? He's a good quarterback. Washington State won a lot of big games with him. It wouldn't be terrible to have him. Sam Darnold. 63%. Luke Falk was 67. The Baker Mayfield was 70. This guy's only 63. 290 yards a game, and that sucks because they had a running back. So when you got a running back, you should throw for a little bit more because it's more balanced. They can't just blitz you because it's a balanced offense. Only 26 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. That's a ton of interceptions. Not a lot of touchdown passes. I don't buy this guy at all. Not a winner. Ohio State beats them 27-7 in the bowl game. I don't know if they beat Washington. If they lost to Washington, they beat Washington, I think, 2 years ago. I think Washington killed them last year. I don't see a Joe Montana coming out of this guy. Not a winner. Do what you want with him. He's not a first rounder. These numbers do not represent a first rounder numbers. Next guy, Josh Rosen. He's been injured. Comes back. He's a fighter. He's a winner. He's had concussion and shoulder problems. Be careful. He throws for 62.5%, a little worse than Darnold. He does throw for 337 a game, which was a much higher, one of the highest we've gotten. 26 touchdowns and only 10 interceptions. Again, he only played 11 games. 26 touchdowns is a little weak. 10 interceptions is a little too much for me. I like Logan Woodside ahead of this guy. 26 and 10. So I don't think Josh Allen is not a first rounder. Darnell is not a first rounder. Josh Rosen's a bottom first rounder. Any of these teams, if the Jets or the Giants take Darnell or Rosen in the first 5 picks, they're making huge mistakes. They got no chance with these guys. They don't get the ball in the end zone, and they have way too many turnovers. Falk I can live with. He's 30 and 13. It's still a little bit high, but I'd take Falk over Darnell and Rosen. Rosen I like, but he's been injured, so you got to be careful with him. Jake Browning. Jake Browning's 68.8%. Led a good Washington team. Yards per game, 212. Not good. Touchdowns, only 18, but only 5 interceptions. This guy's a backup. He's nothing special. I don't see it with him. Only 18 touchdowns with that Washington offense. Running the Boise offense, that's very weak. Ross Bowers from Cal, 59%, 18 and 12 interceptions. Forget him. I'll tell you, where's that Colorado quarterback from last year? He was really good. I don't know what team he's on, but that guy's good. The Stanford quarterback, Casey Costello, threw 11 touchdowns with only 2 interceptions, but I don't know. I don't think he played that much or they ran with him. So I don't see anything. Khalil Tate at Arizona, I don't know if he's in the draft. Great running back, not a quarterback. Same thing with Brandon Dawkins at Arizona, is a good running back. That's all I see. Arkansas State, Justice Hansen, very good quarterback, 64%, 330 yards a game, 34 touchdowns, and only 15 interceptions. He's really good, Justice Hansen. It's Justice. I keep calling him Justice. Very, very good. Very strong. Definitely a good quarterback you can draft late. Good backup. That's about it. Taylor Lamb, Tyler Rogers are more running. Tyler Rogers from New Mexico State threw for 350 a game, 62%, 26 touchdowns. I don't know if he's in the draft. That's the problem with some of these guys. I don't know if they're in the draft or not. And my last is the SEC. Again, they don't have any good quarterbacks to really threaten Alabama. It's amazing how bad the quarterbacks are in the SEC. And Alabama just stops the run, and Alabama laughs all the way to the bank because they don't have any good ones. after I say that, here's Drew Lock from Missouri. They switched to the Baylor offense. 43 touchdowns, 12 picks, averaged 48%, 58%, but I don't think he's in the draft. Jared Stidham's in the draft from Auburn. He's a senior. He played at Texas A&M, I think, and he transferred over. He won that Alabama game. I would definitely give this guy a look. 67%, but he only threw for 217 a game. 17 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. Definitely a very good sleeper because he's a winner. He beat Alabama and he beat Georgia, and he was a winner in those games. He would run for the first down, made some very key passes. This guy is somebody you keep an eye on. He's a winner, and that's what you're looking for. I don't see much else in here. No. Shea Patterson, he'll be good for Michigan. 64%, 322 a game, 17 touchdowns, 9 picks. So if Michigan gets him, Michigan will win the Big Ten. I'm saying that right now, if he stays healthy. Now let's go. So those are the quarterbacks. So I'd say Baker Mayfield 1, Logan Woodside, Toledo 2. And then it's kind of like maybe you can find one other guy. Let's see, who else? So you got Mayfield, the best. I don't know if Will Greer's coming out. Nick Shimonock would be a good one, but you got to run a spread offense for him. Mason Rudolph, 3rd or 4th round. Brent Stockstill, I think, is a senior out of Middle Tennessee. Excellent quarterback. Just to go through the list. Jared Stidham from Auburn. He's good. Justice Hansen's very good. Logan Woodside, probably the number 2 or 3 quarterback. So you got, you've got Mayfield, and then I'd say you could have Mason Rudolph, maybe. Shimonek is very good, but you need the right offense. Stockstill, outstanding. Stidham is very good. Justice Hansen, very good quarterback. Woodside, probably 2 or 3. I would say no worse than 3. And Josh Allen, I wouldn't draft. I don't know who else is out there. If Nick Stevens is available from Colorado State, I'd get him. He's draftable. Darnell, 3rd, 4th round. Jake Browning, you can't draft. Luke Falk definitely is a 2nd, 3rd rounder. Josh Rosen, bottom of the 1st round. I'd say he's even with Woodside. Logan Woodside, Josh Rosen are about even. Then Darnell's a notch back. Khalil Tate, if he's on the draft, as your running back. Quentin Flowers, the best option quarterback, your 3rd down back, punt returner, wide receiver. Get him the freaking ball because nobody can tackle the guy. Mackenzie Milton, that's next year from UCF. That guy's great. Riley Ferguson, he's up there. Again, you got to run the right. He's not going to go play for Buffalo, the Jets, or Miami in the offense they run now. You give him a normal offense, like a Philadelphia running the Baylor offense, and you'll see this guy be a superstar. So run the right freaking offense for these guys. Lamar Jackson, he's not as good as Quentin Flowers, so he's a punt returner and a wide receiver. Not a whole lot else in the ACC. God knows Florida State needs a quarterback. You're not going to draft them. And then you got J.C. Barrett, who, put him at wide receiver. Next year you got Trace McSorley. Clayton Thorson, Northwestern, he'll be good. Whenever he comes out, do not draft Tanner Lee, God knows. Brian Lewerke could be good for MSU. Jeff George Jr., interesting. So those are your quarterbacks. Now let's get to your running backs. Now, I'm just going to let the numbers speak for themselves at first. Your best running back, 2,000 yards, Rashad Penny, San Diego State. Bryce Love, Stanford, but I don't think he's in the draft, 1973. Jonathan Taylor, I know he's not in the draft, 1,800. Devon Singletary, Florida Atlantic, I don't think he's in the draft, 1,800. Ahmad Bradshaw, I spoke about him from the Army, 1,600 yards, but he's a senior and he will play Army. D'Angelo Brewer, Tulsa, 1,500 yards. He could be, I don't know. Daisemi St. Justy, Hawaii, 1,500 yards. Ronald Jones, USC, 1,486. I can't, this guy's fifth rounder. Nothing exciting. 18 touchdowns, average 6 yards a game. 123 yards a game, 1,400. He ain't even close to Penny, or he's not even close to Bradshaw. So that's it. And then Royce Freeman, Oregon, 1,475 yards, 122 a game. Philip Lindsay, I really like, Colorado, 1,474. Here's Lamar Jackson. You want your quarterback running for 1,400 yards and 17 touchdowns. So here's the problem. He's going to want to run. You know what happens to running quarterbacks. They don't use their receivers, and the defense kills him, and he won't last. So you've either got to make him a wide receiver, punt returner, but he ain't a quarterback because he's not going to stay in the pocket. He's going to want to run too much, and you can't run in the NFL. The guys are faster than you, so there's no way this guy does anything. A.J. Dillon, Boston College, 1,432. Josh Adams, Notre Dame, 1,386. J.K. Dobbins, Ohio State, 1,364. Khalil Tate, I was mentioning, Arizona, 1,353 yards in 10 games. Oh, my God. Dalen Dawkins, Colorado State, 1,300 yards. Justice Hill, Oklahoma State, 1,300 yards. Lexington Thomas, Vegas, 1,300 yards. Zach Avey, Navy quarterback, 1,300 yards. Ito Smith, he's outstanding. Southern Mississippi, 1,300 yards. Kerryon Johnson, Auburn, 1,320 yards. Terry Swanson, Toledo, 1,300 yards. Benny Snell, Kentucky, 1,300. Spencer Brown, UAB, 1,300. They didn't have a team until last year, and they get a running back who gets 1,300 yards. How the hell does that happen? Miles Gaskin, Washington, 1,200 yards. My name, this is the best running back in the draft. Jarvion Franklin, Western Michigan, 1,200 yards. This guy's a freaking bull. Absolutely 3rd and 1. You put him and Flowers in the same backfield, they'd never stop him. They'd never stop him because he can run up the middle. He's power, and Flowers would keep it on the outside. You draft Franklin. Yeah, one of them in the 6th round, the other in the 7th. You put him on 3rd and 2. You get a first down every time. Anytime you're inside the 5-yard line and you need a touchdown or a 2-point play, you put them both out there. Touchdown every freaking time. This is the best running back, Javon Franklin. Jeffrey Wilson, North Texas, 1,200 yards. Nick Chubb, Georgia, 1,100 yards. Justin Jackson, Northwestern, very good, 1,100. Darrell Henderson, Memphis, 11. And Darius Gulch, LSU, 1,100. So everybody sits there and goes, oh, I would draft Kerryon Johnson from Auburn. Okay, Nick Chubb from Georgia, 1,100 yards in 13 games. You got Gulch from LSU, 1,100 yards, only in 11 games. Where's Sony Michel? He's not on here, so he didn't add a lot of yards, so maybe, I don't know how many games he played. And then you have my man from Penn State, Barkley. He's the #1 player / back. He wasn't on this list. He didn't even get 1,100 yards. Something's wrong there. But they scored a lot of points, Penn State. So when you look at it and you look at what happened, you go, Penny 2,000 yards. You can't ignore that. Some of these guys aren't, Love and Taylor aren't Bradshaw aren't coming out. Jones 1,400 yards with SC. Royce Freeman, Lindsey out of Colorado if he's available. He's better than both of them. Jackson. The problem is you get hung up in the name, right? You go, wow, I can have Karan Johnson. He played for Auburn, or I can have Miles Gaskin of Washington, or I can have Nick Chubb of Georgia. And this is the problem with the freaking draft. Darius Geis, LSU, 1,100 yards. The better players are not the Geis and the Chubbs and the Miles Gaskins. They're Rashad Penny. They're D'Angelo Brewer of Tulsa. I'll give you Jones, Philip Lindsay, Colorado. Even Josh Adams of Notre Dame, but he's not out. Khalil Tate out of Arizona. If this guy's a senior, I'd draft this guy as a running back. 13, and this guy's a great running back. He's a quarterback, but oh my God, can he run the ball? Justice Hill, Oklahoma State. Ito Smith, Southern Miss, is very good. So, I mean, you miss, and then my man Franklin from Western Michigan. See, so the point is you're drafting, I'm going to draft Geis. When you could get Franklin in the third round, and he'd solve all your running back problems. He's not fast, but he's powerful, and he knows how to pick up yardage. Good receiver. This guy's, he's an all-down back. Chubb's okay. Sony Michel, I don't know where he is, but he's not in the top 25. Penny obviously is good. He got 2,000 yards. You can't ignore that. Ito Smith, Southern Miss is good. Jones and Freeman, again, they're down the list, but they're not as good just because they went to USC and Oregon. Freeman probably better than Jones. Jones, against the better teams, Jones did nothing. I refer to the Ohio State game, 27-7. Ohio State, you can't be serious with USC's quarterback or running back getting pounded like that. And then Bradshaw. So, yeah, I mean, obviously Barkley would be my first pick. And then I would probably go to Penny. Too bad Love's not available. He's right up there with Penny. And then I'd probably get Khalil Tate if he's available from Arizona, if he's in the draft. Ito Smith, Southern Miss. Johnson from Auburn's very good. Of course, Franklin from Western's very good. Chubb, Michelle, I don't know. And Geis from LSU, but Geis is not a first-round pick. I don't think Chubb's a first-round pick. I think Michelle is a low first-round pick. So you've got to figure out where these guys are. You can't just sit there and go, I'm going to take Geis number 2, or I'm going to draft Josh Allen number 2. He's not a number 2 player. What are you kidding me? The stats tell the story. Forget the emotion. Forget anything else. I don't care how tall he is. I don't care how fast he is. And I don't care what kind of arm the guy has. The stats are the stats. The guy throws for 5 touchdowns and 20 interceptions. He ain't any good. I don't care how far you can throw the ball. Obviously, when he's on the field, you don't know how to read a defense, read an offense, put the ball where his receiver can get it, and move the team. And you can't blame the offensive line and no running, and it's cold in Wyoming, and all this bullshit. Just as cold in Montana, and it's just as cold in Nevada, and they don't seem to have a problem. All right, let's take a quick look. If you're drafting quarterbacks and running backs, scoring: Oklahoma State 46, Oklahoma 44, West Virginia 36, Texas Tech 34, North Texas 35, Florida Atlantic 40. I don't know if their quarterbacks are available, but those are good late round or free agent picks. Alabama 39. I don't know how the hell they got 39, but you can't draft Hurts. He's not in the draft. Auburn 34, Georgia 34, but you can't draft Fromm. He's only a sophomore. And you can draft Stidham at Auburn, absolutely. LSU, they suck. Florida can't score. Old Miss, 32, but Patterson's going to Michigan. Old Missouri, 39 points. Drew Lock, but I don't know if he's coming out or not. They switched to the Baylor offense, too. See, again, you got to run the Baylor offense, i.e. Philadelphia Eagles. Run the Baylor offense. They win the freaking Super Bowl. Enough said. And you got plenty of quarterbacks that can run the Baylor offense. Then you won't have this quarterback problem. Let's see. Justin Hansen, Ark State, averaged 38.5 a game. Toledo, I said Woodside, 39 a game. Ohio had 39 a game. Wow. Western averaged 33. Western Michigan with my man Franklin. Colorado State, 33 a game. Wyoming, 22. Yeah, draft Josh Allen. Go. And his 166 yards a game. Go with that. Colorado State, 33. And Air Force, Utah State at 31. USC averaged 34. Washington, 37. Stanford, 32. Oregon, 36. UCLA, 33. Arizona, 41. See, you got Khalil Tate, and you score 41 a game. I'm telling you, this guy's probably one of the top 5 in running backs. The question is, I don't know that he's in the draft. But if he is, I'd pick him really high. South Florida, 38 with my man Quentin Flowers. He's a winner. UCF, my other man, Mackenzie Milton, 49 points a game. Holy Christ. How much money did we make on UCF in South Florida last year? Oh my fucking God. Memphis, 47 per game. Riley Ferguson. SMU averaged 40. Ben Hicks, I don't know if he's in the draft. Clemson, 35 a game. Louisville, 39 with Jackson. But they never won the big games. Wake Forest, 33 a game. Well, very good for Wake. Ohio State, 42 with option running. That's why Urban Meyer and Lover coach in the pros, because you can't run the option in the pros. It'll never work because your quarterback will never last 2 games. Penn State, 41 with the best offense probably in football. Wisconsin, 33. My God, that's huge. And that was it. So there you have it. Now, let's talk about draft strategy. I want a guard. I want a tackle. Fuck that. In the first round, you've got to be kidding me. You did not draft an offensive lineman in the first round. Why, Howard? Because you can't tell me he's going to be better than that. There's 2 reasons. The first reason is I can get a kid out of Notre Dame, Ohio State, Oklahoma, USC, Washington, Alabama in the 5th round and the 6th round. They're all good. Their whole freaking line is very good. I don't need to waste a first-round pick on an offensive guard, a center, or a tackle. Because I can get an equal guy, because you can't tell me how one guy's better than the other. I can tell you Rashad Penny rushed for 2,000 yards, and Geist rushed for 1,100. I can tell you Penny's better. I can't tell you this offensive lineman's better than that offensive lineman. And it's not just he's good. It's the defense can blitz. I rush 7 guys. I don't care if you have, God on your offensive line. You can have God at all 5 positions. He ain't blocking 7. It can't happen. So it doesn't matter how good they are. Defense can always scheme and blitz. They can do that rotating blitz where you don't know if it's the left side or the right side coming at you. The safety can blitz. The corners can blitz. It doesn't matter who's on your freaking offensive line. And everybody wants to blame it. Well, we didn't win because our offensive line sucked. What are you talking about? You need the talent. You have good talent, you're going to win. Look at Seattle. They had the big running back, and I can't think of his name. They got rid of him, and that killed their offense. The offensive line was the same offensive line with, I can't think of the guy's name. Same offensive line. He was just a power runner. It didn't matter. Just give me a little bit of blocking. How much blocking do you think these guys do? They just kind of get in the way, and half of them hold anyway. So I'm tired of hearing draft offensive linemen before the third or fourth round. It doesn't matter. Just go on the board. Oh, there's some guy from Oklahoma. He started for him for 4 years. I draft him. There's a guy from Ohio State. I'm drafting him. There's a guy from Penn State. It's not hard. They all have multiple offensive linemen that are in the draft or free agents. You're going to do just fine with them because you can't handle the blitz anyway. So you just need guys that are adequate. And I can't tell you, if a guy starts for Ohio State, you don't think he's good. If a guy starts for Michigan, Penn State, Alabama, any of the 5 starters, you don't think they're any good. These are top recruits that are starting for these teams. They're very good offensive linemen. You cannot tell me the difference between any one versus the other. And not every first-round pick is a lot better than the 5th-round pick or the free agent. So I don't buy it. The Nate Saylor of New England was not drafted, okay? Never even made a Pro Bowl, or I don't think he did. And yet they're paying him a lot because he's the left tackle. They're making way too much crap out of the left tackle, right tackle stuff. So the picking's got to be the best player, the Barkley, Logan Woodside, and the kid from Oklahoma who I can't. I hate when I do this. And Baker Mayfield and Woodside and Stidham and these quarterbacks. The only one I'd consider a first-round pick is Woodside and Mayfield. Those guys I could help, but the first pick's got to be Barkley. Second pick's got to be Mayfield. Then Woodside if you need a quarterback. Luke Falk of Washington State. Then maybe you get the Rosen and Darnell. But you cannot draft these guys if you're not going to run their offense for them. If you're not going to change it, if Buffalo wants to still run this bullshit worst offense, the Jets, no wonder New England wins every year. Buffalo with no offense, the Jets with even less of an offense in Miami. Neither of them have an offense. No wonder New England wins all the time. So if you want to bring in, which the Jets have Bryce Petty, they don't need a quarterback. They just need to go to the Baylor offense. Miami has the kid from Western Kentucky, one of the best quarterbacks that's played in a long time. All you got to do is change your offense to Western Kentucky's offense. The guy will light it up. I can't think of his name right now. So you have the quarterback you need. You just don't run the offense you need for that quarterback. And now you want to draft who? You're going to draft Darnold and think he's going to be any good? And then, and I'll tell you, anybody that drafts Josh Allen in the first round is the dumbest team in the world. And if they start the guy, I'm betting lock every time the guy plays. I'm locking against him. Same thing with Darnell. Rosen I'll give a little respect for, but I'll bet against him the first couple of games. And then we'll see what happens. The only guy I'm not betting against is Baker Mayfield. That I'd be curious to see what team he's on. He's the winner. He's the Joe Montana of this draft. And then you got Logan Woodside, he's a winner. He's a good quarterback. That's what you want in the quarterback. He's the guy from Clemson last year, right? Everybody looks at Clemson with, Watson, I think. He comes in and he does a great job. That's what Woodside's going to do. He's going to come in and fine. But what did Houston do? They put in Clemson plays. That's what you need to do. Wake the freak up, you offensive coordinators in the NFL. You keep trying to fit a round peg into a square hole. You won't change your square hole and make it a round hole. This is the problem in the NFL. Oh, there's no quarterback. There's plenty of quarterbacks. I just named you 20 teams that scored over 35 points a game. They don't have an offense? Come on. What are you talking about? These guys threw, great numbers, playing big competition here. So I don't know what you're looking at, but I mean that's all you need to do. So your first round's got to be some of these running backs I talked about and the quarterbacks, but you got to value it right. Maybe you take some defensive linemen. You've got to have a good defense. The key to winning in any level, you have to run the ball, and you have to be balanced on offense. So you can't just run the ball. You have to be able to throw it and run it pretty much 50-50. You need to run it to rest your defense. That's why you run the ball. It's not to get the 3 yards because you could easily throw for it, i.e. Joe Montana, i.e. Tom Brady. With these little 5-yard passes, they're just running plays. They keep the clock running and they keep their defense rested. That's why you throw the short passes. That's why you need to run the ball. Also, you get a 3rd and 2. You better be able to run the freaking ball because you're not going to have time to pass because they're going to put 8 men on, and I don't care who your offensive line is. You only have 5 guys. They're not going to block 7, 8 guys. And then you can keep using the excuse, well, we don't have a real good offensive line. No, you got a shitty offensive coordinator, and you don't have a running game. And if you just have a decent offensive line, look at Dallas. They bring in Emmitt Smith, they got Aikman, and they got Michael Irvin. All of a sudden, they go 1-11. They go to the playoffs. Was their offensive line great? No, they had Emmitt Smith and then Aikman and Irvin. Now look at them now. They have Ezekiel Elliott. Is whatchamacallit any that great at Dallas? No. I can't think of the quarterback's name. Like I said, I'm drawing blanks on names right now. But I mean, Elliott, it's just balance. You hand the ball to Elliott, he breaks one. Their line's not that great. Oh, yeah, they'll make it great, but what makes it great? I mean, come on. How many games did Dallas win last year with their great offensive line when Elliott didn't play versus when Elliott played? It's all about having the talent at the running back position. You could have 5 Pro Bowl linemen. You're not going to do anything without a running back. I don't care. You can say whatever you want. It's not going to happen. I've never seen a team without a good running back do anything in any season, and especially the playoffs. Not without a good running attack and a balanced line. Look at Philadelphia. Why does New England lose? Because they don't have a running attack. As soon as they have a running attack, they win. And, I mean, that's all. LeGarrette Blount was on Philadelphia, not New England. Who won the Super Bowl? Blount and the kid from Miami, Ajay. They had the better running backs. They win the game. So, I mean, talent wins. Talent wins in every sport at every level. The better players win. Your first round's got to be running backs, quarterbacks. I haven't even gotten to the receivers. Just all the teams that scored a lot draft their receivers. Simple. Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, West Virginia, TCU. Go right down the list. You want a receiver? Middle Tennessee State, Western Kentucky, Marshall, Auburn. Go right down the list. It's not hard. That's all you do, obviously, because they throw for 300-400 yards a game. They got to have good receivers, right? So it's not that hard. But that's what you draft. Then you get then there's good defensive linemen, and good luck figuring that out. All I can say is go to the good defensive teams, but not Alabama. I'd go to LSU because Alabama runs a system. As much as you think Baylor's offense is a spread offense, and I don't want to draft a quarterback, Alabama is a system defense. And again, there's not a lot of good players that come out of Alabama that make it in the pros that are any good. Some guys will play, but they're not really good because it's a different system for them. Versus LSU, they run on pure talent and speed, and they're much better NFL players. Patrick Peterson, Honey Badger. Name an Alabama's guy in the secondary who can match those two guys. You can't because they don't exist. That's my point. So LSU, Georgia's getting better. Auburn's getting better on defense. You just pull those guys, and it's not hard. Quit trying to find this guy. I hear some guy at a Texas San Antonio. Yeah, right. No. He's 3rd, 4th rounder. You don't waste first rounders on that guy. Somebody, it's like, oh, he's fast and his time. I don't even understand these gimmicks with the pro days and with this clinic or whatever they do in Indianapolis. It's so stupid. Watch the freaking games. You see a guy, the Florida State safety. I don't even know his name. He's a really good safety. He was hurt 2 years ago. He played well last year. All you got to do is watch the guy on the field. He breaks up the plays. He covers. He picks the ball. He blitzes. But when he blitzes, he makes the sacks. That's who you want to draft. It's very simple. The guy who makes the play. It's all about, can he make the play? Does he have passion and brains for the game? Can he diagnose the play and make it when he's there? If you can do that, that's who you draft. I don't care how fast he is. I don't care how far he can jump. It's not important. The speed is not important as long as I can stay with my man and read the play. I don't care how fast he is. I mean, obviously, I couldn't cover a track guy, but if I was a lot faster, I could cover a guy my size and speed, yes. But I can't cover a guy who runs a 10-100. I mean, that's not going to happen. But so you need some fast guys, but I'm saying, but if I can diagnose the play, I mean, when I played in junior high school, I just read the play. I mean, I could see the quarterback hand off to the running back. I didn't wait. I just went right over the line and I tackled the guy. I mean, it was just reading the play. I was smart. I wasn't the fastest guy out there, but I knew once I read the play, I just tackled it. That's all it is. It's like getting a jump in baseball, right? The center fielder, if he can get the jump on the ball, he's going to catch it. If he can't get the jump on the ball, he's not going to catch it. It's very simple. Anyway, so that's what you're looking for. You're looking for playmakers. Defense. It doesn't matter where on defense. Secondary, linebackers, or defensive line. You can have fast linebackers that can sack the quarterback. You don't need defensive ends all the time because the linemen, who are all these all-pro guys, are not fast enough to handle a fast linebacker, i.e. Lawrence Taylor, for example. I don't care if you had God playing left tackle for the Redskins. When Lawrence Taylor was rushing the quarterback, he got there, and look at Joe Theismann. He never played again. So all you need is speed as your linebackers. So don't tell me you need defensive ends and defensive tackles. You need guys that can tackle, stop the run, and you need guys for 3rd and 2. 1st and 10, you can play all linebackers and safeties for all I care. Have a couple of defensive linemen in, stop the run if the teams are that stupid and going to run on 1st down. But that's what you want. You need running backs. You need some defensive linemen. Obviously, fast linebackers, fast secondary, good tackling people. That's the key. So just look at LSU, look at your SEC. Fresno State was very talented. Colorado's got a great defense. At least had one 2 years ago after their team got drafted. Washington, Boise State, Fresno State, Ohio State, Michigan. Michigan's too young. They'll be better next year. Penn State, not really that good. Wisconsin seems to have good secondary guys. So you just go off of that, and you just look at the playmakers. That's all there is to it. It's very simple. And you can't guess, but I'm so sick of hearing all these mock drafts, and they glorify, Josh Allen. Are they looking at the freaking numbers? Because I don't know what they're. If Josh Allen's picked in the first 5 rounds, that team made a huge mistake. Made a Ryan Leaf. We'll call it a Ryan Leaf. You draft Josh Allen. That'll be it. If he was any good, then Wyoming would have won their title every year, right? If he's that Joe Montana. I don't know what kind of offensive line he had at Notre Dame, but I'm still counting the money when he beat Houston in the Cotton Bowl in 1977 or 78, whatever year it was. He came back. It was 30-10. They won 31-30 on the last play. I'm still counting the money. I had a trap. I trapped the game. I loved it. Joe Montana found a way to win. Then Frisco, he found a way to win with no talent. Dwight Clark, who's he? Bill Ring, and the guy's still Freddie Solomon, and he's winning the Super Bowl with that talent. He goes to Kansas City after his injury, he wins with nothing. It's about the quarterback's a winner or he's not. And Josh Allen could not win at Wyoming. Why do you think he's going to win at any of these crap teams in the pros? Even if he went to a good team, he's not winning. So I just don't see it. Anyway, that's Teaserking's draft analysis. Every year I do a draft report card, and it's very accurate. Just look, they're on the videos last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I just do what I just do now, and you watch this one in 3 years, and you'll see. Hell, Teaserking said Josh Allen's going to suck. He said Darnell's not that good. He said Baker Mayfield's Joe Montana, there he is. Logan Woodside. Oh, nobody predicted Logan Woodside's any good. Yeah, Teaserking did. Because I watch the freaking games and I look at the stats. and the trends, and I'm watching the games. I'm watching the guy play, put up 40 a game. This guy's good. I mean, it's not, you just watch him play. It doesn't matter. He's at Toledo. Ben Roethlisberger played for Miami of Ohio, for Christ's sake. That's all you're looking at. It's a very simple, can he play or not? Anyway, so enough with this mock draft bullshit. I will grade the things, but I think the teams that take the players I'm talking about will get the A grades. Defensively, like I said, just go to a good defensive school. It's hard to know Joe Smith at Tennessee's any good or bad, so that's why it's hard to say that. It's just the idea, if any team drafts an offensive lineman in the first round, they get a bad grade. Because I guarantee you there's Nebraska, Oklahoma, Miami, Florida State, Georgia. They all have 5 linemen. Probably 3 or 4 can be drafted every year. And they're just as good as whoever you drafted in the first round, because it doesn't matter. They're going to put 7 men on the line. You got 5 blocking. You're not going to block them. It doesn't matter who they are. You can just, it doesn't, it's just, that's the game. I'm going to rush 7. You got 5 blockers. Good luck. And they sack your quarterback, and then what are you going to cry? My offensive line's not good. No, your offensive line's fine. They blitz 7 guys. Oh, I can't run. That's because you don't have a running back, not because your offensive line. I hate that excuse. It's such a terrible excuse for a team that can't draft. They use that, well, it's the offensive line. We need to draft offensive linemen. I mean, Jesus, give me a break. That's not your problem. You should be able to, anybody from Oklahoma, Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, USC, Washington, Alabama can play in the pros as adequately as whatever they're drafting. Very rarely, even look at Joe Thomas, was on Cleveland. Great left tackle. They haven't won a game in 3 years. Not your answer, but who's their running back? They don't have one. Who's their quarterback? They don't have one. That's the problem, not Joe Thomas. All right, everybody. I'm going to do some more videos because I'm psyched and it's raining out. Next one will be on tanking because I hate that crap. I hate all this talk of people that don't know what they're talking about, all these radio and TV guys. So I'd like to shut them up. So again, Teaserking, and I've been doing this for 40 years, so I know what I'm talking about. All right, everybody. Have a great day. Don't even watch the draft. Don't waste your time. Just look at the results on Sunday. Go, okay, just go team by team. Who did Arizona take? Who did the Lions take? Who did Chicago take? Who did Minnesota take? That's all you need to see. You don't need to watch the bullshit. I'm mad that Goutham's not going to be on Thursday because of the stupid draft. That's how stupid it is. All right, everybody. Have a great week. Football's coming around the corner. Teaserking's gearing up. College, I got pretty good. Pros, I'm really pissed about my record in the pros, and I guarantee it much stronger this year. It's just there's so many different coaches, so many different. I mean, I look for strong versus weak, and I played trends, and all of the trends were not there. The strong, who knows? The weak, who knows? I thought Jacksonville was weak. I thought the Rams were strong. Minnesota was average. Philadelphia, I had no idea. And Dallas and Washington and the Giants. I mean, yeah, okay. I mean, it's just so inconsistent. There's so many bad players. There's so many bad coaches that it's really hard to find the good, a.k.a. New England, and then what? And that's the problem. So anyway, have a great week, and please email me with any comments or questions. This is my strong opinion based on watching many college games every year, but last year, knowing who the playmakers are, looking at the stats. I'm just reading off what I know. It's just my very strong opinion. All right, everybody, have a great week. Good luck, and hope you make a lot of money this year.